So,
Do you want to pull up the clip of Nick predicting all this?
yes, please.
Yeah.
Is it this one right here?
No, it is up higher. It would be like back from like his old set. That's Kyrie. No, sorry, the wrong one.
Just riff.
Yeah, I'm trying to riff. But I'm trying to also pay attention. Anyways, so the clip that he's looking for is, again, Nick Fuentes basically predicting all of this back from the October 7th incident that kind of kicked this all off. You might be able to just search it. Just put Nick Fuentes predicts. But anyways, he predicts this all the way down to us getting into Iran. And to be honest with you, man, like, you have a 26-year-old kid who is just leaps and bounds.
He was
beyond
like 22 at that time.
Right.
Though.
Leaps and bounds beyond right there. Beyond anybody else when it comes to predicting all this stuff, and Israel's desire to get into Iran. And we'll get into it after this clip, but to me it just sounds so fishy, man. Netanyahu has been going in on Iran again, like we saw for 30 years, and then all of a sudden, the only time the U.S. gets dragged into it is when Netanyahu finally has enough.
Yeah, I know.
And then the clip after that, I mean, there's a whole conspiracy that we could fall down behind the Epstein list and all that stuff. And a week prior to this, Elon Musk had tweeted out about Trump being on the.
And that's another thing.
It's a whole other clip, but this is, again, like I said, this is Nick Fuentes basically predicting everything that's happened in the past 3 years, 2 years?
3 years.
3 years.
So we'll play it for you.
Yeah.
Israel benefits from the attack by Hamas because now they get to solve the Gaza question finally. Now they get to go in and kill them all and ethnically cleanse this region. In doing so, they know they're provoking and basically an unavoidable retaliation. There's an unavoidable reciprocal attack by these Iranian militias against Israel. And all that does is give Israel an excuse to do what they always wanted to do, which is to bomb Iran's centrifuges, which is their nuclear program. And if they do that, then Iran is in a war with Israel, and then they draw the United States into a war with Iran. And they get the crown jewel, what they always wanted, which is an end to the regime in Syria and an end to the regime in Iran. And that seems to be the big play that Israel is making. So consider the following. Israel had an intelligence failure. Oops. Number one surveillance superpower in the world. It's your neighbor. Oops, we didn't know that Hamas was going to spill out and kill all Netanyahu's political enemies in the south. The commie, all these labor Zionists down in the south of Israel. Oops, we didn't see it coming. Oh, we didn't know that Hamas was going to invade. Guess we have an excuse to go and kill them all. Guess a perfect political crisis fell into Netanyahu's lap right as he was about to get removed from power and thrown in jail. Now he's forming a unity government to go and destroy his sworn enemy for 100 years. And they get to go and level Gaza. And the United States backs them and Israel backs them because of the visceral atrocities that were committed by Hamas, which they failed to anticipate.
To a T.
So Israel is going to conduct a brutal campaign against Gaza, which they know that Iran has to respond to. They know that Iran and all the neighboring powers have to go and attack Israel for doing this because the people would revolt if they didn't. They bring the United States in to say, hey, we're going to put Iran in check. Iran won't attack Israel if the United States is in the neighborhood. Wrong. Iran almost has to. They're forced. And if Iran attacks Israel, if these militias attack Israel, then Israel can widen the conflict and attack Iran. America's brought in, and now Israel gets two for the price of one. This little attack by Hamas, this may be the tripwire that sets off the regional war that they have wanted for decades.
To a T, man. To a T. Can you blame the Groypers?
How the hell do you get every single thing right?
Right.
This
What a
guy,
pull.
there is no political commentator that comes near Nick Fuentes, man.
No. I mean, And isn't that a crazy statement to make online? That's a crazy statement to make.
Okay,
online.
but like, yeah, it's true though. When it comes to like knowing everything and like the knowledge and stuff he talks about, like I didn't know about Natanz and Fordo. I didn't know that they're only enriching uranium to 60%. I didn't know that we had done all of this stuff in preparation from this. And when he talks about the Israel lobby and when he talks about Netanyahu, like I didn't even know what the Likud party was, but that's the political party of Benjamin Netanyahu, and they've been in power for a good 40 years.
Yeah.
And he's talking about all this, and it makes sense. I mean, we haven't. This is relatively new. Like I don't know if we consider ourselves groypers now, but I'm certainly interested in watching Nick Fuentes.
Absolutely.
Like,
I mean, it's a rabbit hole that
yeah,
we're both down.
Maybe I am a groyper. I don't necessarily agree with everything, but here's the thing: nobody agrees with 100% of what anybody says.
Yeah.
But this guy in particular, he is so knowledgeable. He is so intelligent.
Yeah.
There is nobody that was able to predict everything after October 7th, rather, and everything that goes on in the world like him. I mean, the way he's breaking down the geography and the different cities in Iran and the background behind everything, there's nobody like that.
No, it's fantastic. I mean, and now I wish you would have. I would have, paid attention to him, because everything gets written off. I mean, he's debanked. He's on a no-fly list. He's put on a.
Well, he can fly.
Yes.
He's still debanked.
This was all
Banned from a payment processor.
Yes. So I mean, this was all things that happened years ago. But I mean, dude, Rumble. Thank God he can stream on Rumble.
He'll be around forever, though.
He's 26 unless they kill him.
They already freaking tried to kill him in December.
And it didn't even make the fucking news.
I know. Okay, so when's the first time you heard about Nick Fuentes?
I mean, probably scrolling through X and seeing things. I mean, I can't really put the first time that I really fell down the rabbit hole is when you started talking about him, truly. I mean, I'll be honest with you. That's the first time that I really went down the rabbit hole. Other than, I mean, quite frankly, it's very new. 2 months when I watched that documentary about him on YouTube that one dude put out.
The one I
that was
sent
kind
to
of
you.
that was kind of like I mean, it really it dogged Nick through the dirt.
Yeah.
And it kind of highlighted some things that Nick, outside of his, hour and a half stream every night, he might be kind of a piece of shit behind the curtain.
Maybe.
He might be gay. There's a million different things.
But honestly,
who
he's
cares?
so talented. I don't care. And he's leading a revolutionary movement. So I have a comment about that. But I have an aside from that.
Yeah.
So I found out about Nick Fuentes in 2022 when CNN, MSNBC, Fox News even condemned Donald Trump for having a dinner in Mar-a-Lago with Nick Fuentes. I knew who Milo Yiannopoulos was, but obviously Kanye was there too.
Right.
That's when I first started hearing about Nick Fuentes.
I would say that was mine as well.
But after the election, when I saw he had that TikTok, it was like the "Your Body, My Choice Forever."
Yes.
That tweet, and then he had the TikTok that went viral. That's the first thing where I really started to find out who he was, bro. But I found after that, right? Obviously, I found out the rabbit hole too. I introduced you to him, whatever, yada yada yada. He has a lot of really really good views. And he represents a part of the right wing that hasn't been allowed to have a voice for, I don't know, 70 years maybe.
Right.
Let's set that aside. So Nick Fuentes' followers are the groypers. And, bro, there are way more of them than you would think.
And the scary part is how free they are with their speech. If you are going to watch Nick Fuentes on Rumble, give Nick a chance and do not go to the live chats, because holy fuck, those are rough.
The live chats are a bit much.
Yes,
some of his followers are, shall we say,
white supremacists.
But I would go even further. I don't know. They say everything. We're not allowed to say the R word on YouTube, but let's just say they
say grape Netanyahu.
Grape
Sneeko. Yeah, there's a lot of big ones. But also, I mean, dude, even outside of his show, he goes on InfoWars. He goes on the Sneeko streams.
Oh my gosh.
He destroyed Dean Withers in a fucking in the
Nick on Kick is what it's called.
Yes. So, but I mean, even going back to the Dean Withers debate that they had. I mean, the problem is they put, a little Twinkie freaking 19-year-old Democrat against this really fucking smart kid.
Who also happens to be a white nationalist.
Exactly. And all Dean could bury him with was just outlandish comments about would you kill a baby if Jesus told kill and grape a baby if Jesus told you to. Like that
And the
was
thing is,
literally
his response was perfect though. He's like, that's the Old Testament. It was a fallen world.
Right.
It's not supposed to be the modern world.
Exactly. So I mean, there's, dude. I mean, the Groypers.
And some of the
stand
super chats, some of the super chats are a bit much.
Some of the super chats are a bit much. I think there's a lot of
Incel humor.
hiding behind a computer, incel humor, and
he is
honestly
an incel.
things that Nick doesn't even really condone. Like
Yeah.
I mean, he'll get super chats that say "Grape Netanyahu," "Grape Sneeko," and
he
says
shits on the super chatters
yeah,
a lot, yeah.
he does shit on the super chatters. I mean, I really think that it's a weird following of people who adore him and love him, and then he's just kind of plays the cool guy.
Because he's like the incel king. But like, here's the thing: people use incel as a pejorative, but he's also claimed to be an incel too.
Yeah, I mean, and he also said he had a clip 2 weeks ago or a week ago about marriage. That went viral, and I don't know, dude. The fact that he was almost murdered and nobody talked about it.
Yeah.
And that guy who murdered him was involved in, I believe, a triple homicide or double homicide.
After,
one of the two.
I believe.
Yeah, after but he came to, or it might have been
Before.
Before.
It was
after.
either before or after. Obviously.
Anyways, thank God Nick didn't open the door.
Course.
Obviously.
And he did pepper. If you
He
saw
did
it,
pepper
when he
spray that
sprayed the
lady,
little girl,
yes.
He's like, "Fuck out of here." and he
Well,
sprayed
honestly,
it.
who the fuck shows up to someone's front door, dude?
Yeah, not like
she's
that.
lucky she didn't
And
get a gun.
He's already on edge.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
would be too.
When you're
So,
like that.
100%.
But, okay, so I was thinking about this, right? This is not the first alt-right political movement or
No.
far-left political movement that has threatened the mainstream. The thing is, our generation, Gen Z, especially the men, but even the women too, when you get a little bit younger, I've seen the stats, it's crazy. But men right now, our age in Gen Z, they lean Republican or they lean right by 4 points, right?
Yeah.
And that's huge because it's not usual for young people to lean to the right.
Right.
Okay. But we've already went through it. It's because the media bashed men, and we grew up with these people telling us that we're evil and masculinity is toxic. So,
Right.
okay, of course we hate them, and they're the Democratic Party, so this is why we're on the right. It emboldened us, whatever. But more and more men are starting to discover Nick Fuentes, and these alt-right talking point, not even talking points, but views are something that the millennial men don't have.
Right.
But if you go back, if you listen to older men,
They all have these
they
views.
say the same thing that
They
he
all
says.
have these views.
Majority.
Yeah.
At least
I think
domestic
it's-
opinions.
I think it's coming back, and I think we're going to see a big switch, especially when, I mean, and this is a huge prediction down the line, so clip it if we get it right and we're still doing this in 20 years. But,
Pay us.
as he grows, man, like, I just don't see how Fox News and CNN and those other news stations, I don't see how they survive. He is getting more views in clips and or streams than
I know that
CNN.
I saw that
It is
graphic. That was
nuts.
very interesting.
It is nuts. So I mean, you can't sit here and tell me that as streams get more and more. I'm not a stream dude like Aiden Ross or Kai Cenat. I don't give a fuck about watching live streams. I truly don't.
I haven't. They look kind of cool. Speed.
Yeah, I
when
guess.
he's in China. But I to your credit, I haven't watched it.
I have a day job, so when those
Right.
guys are streaming at fucking 11 p.m., I'd rather be watching old clips of Nick Fuentes.
Or I'd rather be watching Nick Fuentes online live streaming like an actual news show.
Exactly. And so to your point, or to my point, I guess, when we see these mainstream news channels kind of die out, we're going to have to switch to something because technology is always changing. People aren't going to be, watching whatever is on, they're not going to be watching the fucking Five.
When the boomers
or
are
whatever.
dead.
Exactly.
That they only have a slight amount of time before that happens. Okay,
Exactly.
but I would argue that's already happened.
I would argue to a point it's already happened. What I'm trying to say is there are still our age, yes, there's a lot of political Twitter is a wild place, and I feel like that's almost the only it's like the only, I guess, it's the only social media that is really, really rabbit holey when it comes to political stances, politicians in general, or just, political commentators.
It's definitely different
It's the free speech side of things where you're not going to get a Fuentes on Instagram, or you're going to get his clips. You're not going to get a Fuentes on Facebook. You're going to get, your stupid aunt talking about the fucking protests or whatever
Right.
on Facebook. So you go onto X and you see these things that are going viral. So like you said, once the boomers are gone, what happens to the new age of politicians? Does it look like a Groyper uprising in a presidential stance, would he even want to, do that?
He said before that if he's called upon, he'll do what he has to do. But I think this movement is going to gain more and more traction as more and more people wake up.
Yeah.
But go back a little bit.
Okay.
Speaking to the media, the mainstream media perspective, we're talking about how the boomers watch Fox News, CNN, MSNBC.
Right.
I would argue that the shift has already happened. You see Trump going on all these podcasts. You see Kamala went on Call Her Daddy, and she went on The Pivot.
Right.
So you start to see this was the first election where podcast and independent media kind of really started to turn the wheel.
Right. I think not to cut you off, but to your point, I think we'll still see that and a lot more of that in coming election cycles. But I think after election cycles, where we see that die out. Your political candidates.
Well, I'm getting somewhere.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, so you know how we criticize CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News to a degree when the right or the left have their talking points?
Yes.
Did you see this past week when it was Matt Walsh, it was Jack Posobiec, and it was Charlie Kirk? They had that same, and Nick was talking.
The tweet, yes.
Yep, they had that same tweet, and it was Nick was saying they got their marching orders, and I forget what it even was. It was about America First or something like that. I don't even remember what it was.
Yeah, I forget what the tweet was, but I did see they all kind of tweeted it out, which is just so funny because what fucking playbook are you running here? Because
what
we
I'm saying
just
is,
watched.
That's the same thing.
Yeah,
there is CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. It's just these right and left wing. I mean, we're criticizing the right wing commentators, but it's just these commentators,
right.
And it hasn't changed the venue, if you will, or the platform, how you get this information has just shifted.
Yeah.
But there's people with the similar talking points.
Right.
You listen to a Ben Shapiro, I don't listen to Ben anymore, but you listen to a Matt Walsh, and it's hold on. They're talking about the same things on their stuff. It's basically the same show, just with a slightly different opinion.
Right.
And so it's these people have the same people that are paying them, I would imagine. And it's holy shit. And then, okay.
Well, I mean, at least we know everybody at the Daily Wire does. Right.
But even Charlie Kirk and stuff, and you see how they all switched up their stance.
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk, Matt Walsh, Jack Posobiec, Michael Knowles, people that some of them I had good faith were independent
Absolutely
thinkers. And it's hold on, they're all getting their marching orders the same. And then you talk about the ex-influencers. Those are the reporters kind of, but the MAGA reporters.
Yeah.
People like DC Drano, people like Laura Loomer, who are now calling for us to get in direct conflict with Iran.
Yeah.
Things that Nick Fuentes has very much accurately predicted.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, dude, I was cutting you off.
But I just wanted to reiterate that point that that old media, the thing about, oh yeah, they're all just getting their talking points and they're not really independent. But it's transcended now, and it's on social media too. Yeah. These people are also getting their talking points, even though we thought at one point maybe they were independent and they were truly not grifting.
Right.
A lot of them are grifting.
And now it makes you wonder, are those free thinkers the ones that have all been deplatformed? The Alex Joneses, the Nick Fuenteses, the who's the other fucking guy? Why is he? I don't listen to him, but he's fucking slipping my brain. He's on Rumble too. I'm not gonna think of it. I can't fucking remember his name. But there's someone else who was deplatformed. But
Myron Gaines.
Yeah, was he deplatformed?
That's Fresh and Fit. I don't know if he was or not.
No, I don't think he was. No,
but I think he's independent too.
Yes, but he is one. But I don't think he's deplatformed.
Who do you think is compromised?
Dude, I mean, I think we just
go down the list. All the right wing commentators, right?
I think we all just saw it.
Ben, obviously, and Matt, he's the one that's probably Matt, Michael Knowles, everybody at the Daily Wire,
Kirk, everybody at the Daily Wire.
Jack Posobiec, Candace, maybe.
I was gonna say Candace. Let's see when she gets off maternity leave where we're at.
I don't know. She's criticizing us going to war with Iran.
Yes,
so that's good.
Yes,
I do like that.
And to a point, I think she is independent only because of the split from the Daily Wire.
Correct.
And we've become very critical of the Daily Wire. I obviously think Matt Walsh's movie was phenomenal.
Of course. I mean, it was very entertaining. You were a subscriber to Daily Wire Plus.
I did subscribe to Daily Wire Plus. It wasn't really Ben, because Ben was, even from the beginning, you can kind of sense the Israel over everything. Israel
Even now,
first
dude,
mindset.
He says, "I love America because they fund Israel." That's something Nick's talked about.
I'm saying that's now. I'm saying back even before all that, you could tell that Ben was more of an Israel first, a fast talker, try to. I
don't know, man. He fooled me.
Make you fall in love with exactly. He fooled me.
Freaking fooled me.
He fooled me.
He
dude.
got me when I was 11 years old.
Yeah, I mean, but also with that, who isn't in the mainstream. I mean, so here's what I'll say. Do you consider everybody who is pro-Israel, Iran, pro-United States helping Israel out in this compromised?
I mean, I love...
Because I feel like, not to cut you off,
No,
I totally just
you're-
did.
you're good.
But the Fuenteses and the free thinkers, in my mind, they are in the same boat of, why are we getting our hands dirty with something that Israel started, something that Israel should be able to figure out themselves, and something that it seems like for the past 30 years, Israel has just been chomping at the bit to become more powerful and to level Iran?